Hello everyone, welcome to another watercolor mixing video. Today we are going to paint some color swatches for these three Hansa yellows that I have here. Hansa yellow light, Hansa yellow medium, and Hansa yellow deep. So we are going to see what's the difference between these three, and later on we will mix these yellows with reds to see what kind of orange we can get, and with blues to see what kind of greens we can get. Alright, let's start with Hansa yellow light. Now this is a very bright, cool yellow. It reminds me of lemon yellow straight away, so it's semi-transparent. Let's blend this into the white of the paper. Hansa yellow light uses the pigment PY3, which is a version of aryllite yellow. And this particular pigment is marginally light fast. According to Daniel Smith, it has a light fast rating of 2 out of 4, where 1 is excellent and 4 is quite bad. Some brands would use PY3 for their color and call it lemon yellow, but for Daniel Smith they call it Hansa yellow light. So this is Daniel Smith's version of lemon yellow. So comparing these two side by side, I can sort of see a tiny hint of green in this Hansa yellow. Next we have Hansa yellow medium PY97. It's a very nice meat yellow. This color is from Series 2, which is more expensive compared to Series 1. It's a very strong, vibrant yellow as well. Semi-transparent, low staining, non-granulating, and has excellent light fast quality. One color that looks quite similar to Hansa yellow medium is Azo yellow. Now Azo yellow uses PY151, and this color looks a bit more intense compared to Hansa yellow medium. But Azo yellow is more expensive because it's from Series 3. And lastly, we have Hansa yellow deep. So this is definitely an orange to me. If you look at the tube, it looks yellow, but if you look at the paint, it's actually orange. So this is a very warm yellow, quite similar to New Gambosh. This is PY65. So this is New Gambosh compared to Hansa yellow deep. They look quite similar. If I were to do a blind test, I probably would not be able to tell the difference between these two. If you want to have a good selection of yellows from different color temperatures, I think Hansa yellow light, medium, and deep is a good selection. I like Azo yellow, but this is Series 3, so it's more expensive. But if you want the intensity, Azo yellow is a good one to get. Alright, now let's mix some secondary colors with the yellows. We'll start with green, so I'm going to use Hansa yellow light and phthalo blue first. So this is Hansa yellow light. This paper that I'm using, this is the Fabriano paper with 25% cotton. So let's add some phthalo blue and see what we have. Next we have Hansa yellow light with French ultramarine. And lastly we have Hansa yellow light with cerulean blue. And now Hansa yellow medium with phthalo blue. Notice how my paper is starting to buckle. This is 200 GSM paper. This is Hansa yellow medium and French ultramarine. Too much water here. It's difficult to get a nice green with ultramarine. I mean a bright green. So with ultramarine, you're going to get a warm muted green. And Hansa yellow medium with cerulean blue. On to Hansa yellow deep with phthalo blue. Hansa yellow dip with French ultramarine. Some of the paint from the top. So it looks like this combination is going to give you a very dull, almost brown color. No green at all. Hansa yellow dip with cerulean blue. When mixed with Hansa yellow, we get a very dirty, very warm, dirty, desaturated green. Alright, while waiting for these swatches to dry, we will mix the yellows with the reds. And now let's mix Hansa yellow light with Pyro Scarlet. I want to let the colors mix on the paper. Hansa yellow light with Pyro Crimson. Hansa yellow light with quinacridone rose. Hansa yellow medium with Pyro Scarlet. Hansa yellow medium with Pyro Crimson. Hansa yellow medium with quinacridone rose. Hansa yellow deep with Pyro Scarlet. This should produce a very warm and vibrant orange. Hansa yellow deep with Pyro Crimson. And lastly, Hansa yellow deep with quinacridone rose. This should be interesting. It looks like the swatches have dried nicely. Now before we take a closer look, I want to talk a bit about this paper that I'm using. This is the Fabriano watercolor paper with 25% cotton. The paper weight is 200 GSM. Now this paper is also available in 300 GSM. As you can see, the watercolor appears to be quite patchy. This is not the type of paper where the colors would blend softly into one another. You can see the edges here. They are actually quite abrupt, and each time you charge in extra colors, the colors would just sort of sink in and refuse to move. So that's why you get all this patchy look. With good watercolor paper, you are supposed to see something like this where the edges are much softer, but even so, here you can see where I laid down the strokes. Here the strokes are horizontal, here they are vertical. So with good watercolor paper, the colors, they should blend very softly and you shouldn't be able to see how the strokes are applied. So this is probably the type of paper where you should pre-mix your colors on the palette first before applying them on the paper. And after you have applied your colors on the paper, probably not good to charging extra colors. This paper is very challenging to use when it comes to painting gradations and creating those soft color blends. Alright, at a glance, when it comes to creating orange, obviously having a warm orange and a warm red would give you the most vibrant orange, and that's what I see here with Hansa yellow deep and Pyro Scarlet. This is a very nice, warm and vibrant orange. Now if you are using Hansa yellow medium or Hansa yellow light with other reds, well, you're going to get more peach-like colors like this and like this. I guess you can use some of these mixtures to create skin tones, but it really depends on what you are painting. I like Hansa yellow dip with Pyro Scarlet, and I think it works well with quinacridone rose as well. Next, let's take a look at the green. So this paper is really thin. It buckles very easily with water. So let me just clip this down first. Alright, the most vibrant greens you can get would be with Hansa Yellow Light, with Phthalo Blue, and with Cerulean Blue. I love these two colors. With Cerulean Blue, it's really beautiful. With Cerulean Blue, you can get very beautiful granulation like this. And this mix is very nice because you can still see the yellows, you can still see the blues separately, but they work together to produce that green. If you want a strong cool green, that would be Hansa Yellow Light with Phthalo Blue. Now this mixture here, it looks a bit like Phthalo Green, especially here when it's so much darker. This is Hansa Yellow Medium with Phthalo Blue. This green is pretty nice as well, a bit darker compared to this one. In some of my watercolor videos, people say that I use too much water, and you are right, I do have a tendency to use too much water. And when you use too much water, you get color blooms like this. So if you want to mix vibrant greens, the best options would be to go with Hansa Yellow Light or Hansa Yellow Medium with Phthalo Blue or with Cerulean Blue. So with the warm yellow, Hansa Yellow Deep, and French Ultramarine, I mean this color here, I don't think green would be the first color that will come to your mind when you see a mix like this. So this is Hansa Yellow Deep and French Ultramarine. This is Hansa Yellow Deep with Cerulean Blue. I think this mix is nicer compared to this. At least with this mix, you can still see the beauty of Cerulean Blue. French Ultramarine is a bit darker. Now with Hansa Yellow Deep and Phthalo Blue, you can get a nice muted green. This may be used for painting shadow areas of greens, or it may be good for painting greens that appear to be very far in the background. If I can only include two yellows in my palette, which would I choose? Now looking at the color swatches and mixes here, one of them is definitely going to be Hansa Yellow Deep, because I can use this color to mix bright orange very easily. Between these two, Hansa Yellow Light and Hansa Yellow Medium, when it comes to mixing greens, well, the greens are not too significantly different, so it's really a 50-50 toss-up. Maybe I would go with Hansa Yellow Medium. It is not easy to choose between these two. Now if I use yellow a lot, I would probably go with Hansa Yellow Medium because I find this yellow to be less glaring compared to Hansa Yellow Light. But usually if I use Hansa Yellow Medium, I would still mix it with a little bit of warm yellow like New Gamboge or Hansa Yellow Deep just to give it some variation. With Hansa Yellow Light, you definitely need to mix other colors into this color because on its own it's really a bit too unnatural. It's too bright. I will scan these color swatches and the mixes and put them on my blog so that you can see them in high resolution. The link will be in the video description below. By the way, I am selling off some excess watercolor paint. The reason for selling them off is to make space to get more colors so that I can feature them on my YouTube channel. So if you want to help me out, you can check out the list of colors that I am selling. The list is also in the video description below. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. I hope it's helpful. See you in the next one. Bye.